So how should it be going? Daniel or...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Daniel?
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Well, what is your name? What is like your official name?
Official government is Daniel. Daniel, and then middle name is Dwayne.
Okay, so do you prefer Dwayne or Daniel?
Either or. I have friends that call me Dwayne. I have friends that call me Daniel.
Okay,
Both work.
All right.
That's confusing, I know.
All right, so I guess that's part of the podcast now.
Yeah,
the introduction.
Exactly, yeah.
Are you Daniel? Are you Dwayne? The mysterious.
Yeah, I think these days mostly just my first name, mostly.
Yeah, Daniel. Okay.
So yeah.
It's your artist name,
now.
or do you have
Sorry?
like an artist name?
Yeah, exactly. That's what that was. Pretty much my middle name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like to keep things separate.
See, I don't have a middle name, so I'm deprived.
Oh no?
No.
Oh, okay. Actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just the first name. That's it. So I'm Tom. For those of you guys who don't know, and this is our first podcast, right?
Yeah,
So,
very exciting.
Welcome to our podcast, and we're gonna try to figure this shit out, I guess, as we go and make
Exactly,
it fun
pretty
and all
much.
that stuff. So, what's new? What's happening with you? By the way, for those of you who don't know, we're gonna try to attempt to do it later on, like together. But Daniel's is in. Well, are you in Toronto?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, still there.
Yeah, still there. Unfortunately.
Still there. Haven't left just yet. Haven't made the move like you.
Yeah, so I'm in Florida. Daniel's in Canada and in Toronto area, and yeah, and that's how we're doing it. And we're gonna hopefully have guests in the future and all that stuff. We're gonna make it look fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what's in the news?
Not too much. I just got this recording stuff that you told me about. Actually, I'm a little jealous that you got the sound effects that you showed me earlier in yours. I gotta make exactly. That's the perfect time.
If I abuse this thing, just tell me, Tom. Stop it.
Exactly, but soon from now I'm gonna have some in. I'm still learning it, so soon from now you're gonna see more sound effects and stuff. Hopefully, it doesn't get too annoying, but.
No, I'm eating ice cream, by the way.
Oh yeah, what kind is that?
Butterscotch or something. I just had to eat it because it's like boiling hot in here. And
yeah,
that's another thing.
Get...
You might hear ever so on the AC kick in, because we're in my trailer basically right now. It's all being temporarily down, first episode, but it's okay, because it's just in my house. It's very very loud right now.
Yeah.
And then see, right now the AC kicked in, so and outside it's like. I mean, so how do you want to die? So, that's Florida for you.
Exactly, yeah.
But, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Florida is nice in the winters. Like if you, well, not in, like basically from October, I would say till April, pretty much is like really nice weather. But May to September, it's the hurricane season, and it is humid and it's hot. Like the last few days it was kind of cooled off, and then today it's again like basically 90 something degrees. So that's like almost like 30 something, 36 or something Celsius. I'm not sure. No,
wow.
I'm forgetting that.
I was getting used to that from coming from here.
Yeah.
Like was the weather getting used to that hot weather? Must be different. Very different.
I guess for me no, because I lived in Ecuador for a while.
Oh right.
And it's hot there too, and I've traveled here before. But although I'm usually to Florida, I used to travel in the winters. In the winter, the weather is perfect here. It's like at night it cools off to like I don't know, like it can get really really cold in some cases, so like 40s. But otherwise, it's like in the nights we get like 65 degrees, something like that. 70 sometimes, but during the day it's always like 70, 75. Like it's like very mild weather, and it's just nice, sunny, all that stuff. Whereas now it's humid, hot, and it rains a lot. So that's the thing.
Speaking of rain, did you hear about the rainstorm we had just yesterday?
No, where? In Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was quick. Like it didn't last too long. It was like maybe, I don't know, like not even, maybe an hour. Not even. But it did a lot of damage. Like there was, I think, I don't want to misquote it, but I think 8 people died. Trees were falling on people and all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
You should see it. It's pretty.
So it wasn't just
rain.
rain.
It did a lot more damage than I was expecting.
Oh.
Yeah. But
was it like flooding or just a lot of wind?
mostly wind, I think. I think it tore it's mostly like I think it's older trees from what I saw. So I think it like kind of just tore them out of the ground. So like a lot of the older like taller trees, a lot of them just came out of the ground, lots of damage. Like I know I was driving by somebody's house and I saw the tree just on the car. So it was pretty bad. It was like an hour, but it was vicious. So
no.
That's the thing in Canada. That's our kind of weather. Just very random.
But is that doesn't normally happen in Canada? Like I remember I lived there for like 20 years, and I remember there was a few times where there was floodings like in Toronto area.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember. Like was it maybe one time there was a tornado somewhere? But for the most part, it's pretty calm there.
Yeah, no, we don't have like crazy storms, but I just more mean. It's just there's always something random, like the snowstorm we had not too long ago, which I ended up getting, caught in.
Oh yeah,
I had to end up leaving my car at the side of the road and just walk.
Okay. What do you mean? Just your car couldn't make it through the snow? Yeah.
So basically, a lot of the cars were getting stuck, and I had a doctor's appointment, so I was just driving up McCowan, and all the cars are on the hill, and a bunch of them just got stuck, and I was sitting there for about 30 minutes, and my appointment was about to start. I wasn't too far from the hospital, so I just got out and walked, came back, my car was still there, and there was a lot of good Samaritans that were out, and they actually helped me dig out the car from in there, because eventually I got stuck myself. So
but how long do you have to leave your car for, though?
My appointment was like about an hour, so I left it there about an hour, but It wasn't like I wasn't worried anyways, just because everybody was stuck. So even when I got back, there was still, some of the cars left, but a lot of the cars were still stuck.
So even if somebody wanted to steal your car, they basically would be stuck.
Well, if they wanted to steal my car, they'd have to help me dig it out first and then steal it. So I wasn't too worried.
Imagine if that happens, like some guy's like digging out your car, and then you're like, "Oh, thank you, sir." And he's like, "Well, actually, I was gonna steal your car, but okay."
Exactly. Well, actually, it's my car now, but no, I got lucky. I got lucky that there was somebody to help me there, because honestly, like I don't know how I would have got my car out from there. Mm-hmm. It was bad.
Man, it's been a while since I've been in like any snowstorms, because even though I haven't lived here in Florida like for the long time, basically it's been a year now.
Mm-hmm.
But I basically always run away from winters. So I either go to Ecuador or I go to Florida or what. So I always avoid the winters. Like at least I have pretty much for like the last, is it 10, 15 years now?
Yeah.
So I remember a few years ago in Pennsylvania, we got stuck in snow for a little bit. Like we thought everything was over. We were like, oh, let's come back to Pennsylvania. We were in Ecuador with my family. And then we literally arrived, and like 2 days later, a snowstorm.
Oh, man.
That was the only time. But then again, I didn't have to go to work and nothing. So, and after I think it only lasted like the snow for like 2 days, and then it melted. So. Yeah, it was
okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's kind of the dream for me, is I want to eventually start just traveling for winter. I think I've had enough. I've put in 30-something years of winters. I think I'm good on them forever. So
I thought you always go to see your family in Barbados, right?
Not every winter.
No.
And that's not as often lately, especially with everything going on. But not every winter, though. Because sometimes, like a lot of the festivities happen in the summer. So you kind of got to choose. So it's either you take your vacation, you go in the winter and, escape winter, or you go up there to party and have fun. And that's going to happen in the summer, or more so in the summer.
Oh, so it's like our summer, basically?
Well, yeah, during like their, like all this stuff that they do there, like the festival and everything that happens, like from, I think it starts generally the beginning of summer, but like the main stuff happens in early August.
Oh, okay.
Late July, yeah.
So how is Barbados like when you go in the winter there? Like,
oh, nice, really nice. That was like the best. I think going there was the best, like New Year's for me, because like I'm in shorts, so can't really complain when you're in shorts.
But is it like a party atmosphere, or it's more quiet at that time of the year?
It depends. I think it really depends on when you go. Like if you're going in summer, it's going to be more of a vibe, like a party vibe, because everything's going on. Like they're big, the big
Like
show. Like we
music
have
festivals and
Caravana,
stuff?
they have Crop Over, and that happens August. So it literally happens like the same time as we have Caravana, and it's like
Okay.
generally like the same sort of thing, but a lot better.
Oh yeah.
So,
In what way?
yeah, because I mean it's more closer to the original. The original is from Trinidad.
Uh-huh.
And so that's like their neighbors. So it's more of a West Indian. It is a West Indian thing. So it's originated out there.
So
Yeah.
I've never been. I actually would want to go one day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we should go.
It's like
One of these summers when they let me travel again.
they have like a touristy thing though, like it's like hotels. I mean, and all that stuff. It's not.
Yeah, they got all that stuff. Yeah,
like all those like all-inclusive resorts and stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. I think I went to one because generally when I go there, like I just stay with my family. So
yeah, makes sense.
I don't really I think, but one time I did do the hotel thing just to try it, and it was good. The food was good.
Did you ever
like a
run
nice
into
resort.
Rihanna?
Actually, yeah.
You did?
Actually, yeah. There was a time because my cousin he sings, and he went to I don't even remember the name of the event. We went to an event, and yeah, she was there. She was there in VIP. She moves around there like normal because that's where her home is, right? So it's not like she had like a whole bunch
So
of
she's
like,
actually, but that's what I mean. So she's actually like still lives there, or she just visits from time to time, or
I think I'm pretty sure both. Like I think both, and it's just funny enough. I think the last
and her family's still there.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, it's a small island, right? So I would
It
think
is. So like people know people exactly. Okay. Yeah, like my cousins would be like, they would know like her family, and like everybody knows everybody, sort of thing, right? So, but yeah, no. So she was there. I think one of the times I was there was when she was out there with, I think it was Oprah, when Oprah interviewed her.
Okay.
I think that was the time that I was talking about when she was at an event.
Now, did you actually bump into her, or like?
No, not like literally. Like she was there though. Like my whole thing is I didn't want to be one of those like those fans annoying people. So I saw her. That was good enough. I didn't need to go, speak or do those things, being annoying. Especially because nobody else was doing it too, right? So you don't want to be the only guy in there.
And maybe all this time she's sitting there going like, "Fuck, nobody recognizes me."
Nobody's talking to exactly.
You never know.
Why don't anybody talk to me?
yeah, exactly. Because some people don't. Like a lot of these celebrities, they have an ego. Let's just put it that way. So, speaking of celebrities, you've been following that whole Johnny Depp and his ex-wife thing?
Yeah, you know what, like. Because it comes on a lot of times I'm working, so but I haven't. It's been a very interesting trial. Like, have you been watching it all or not really?
I'm kind of up to date because my wife is like literally. She's probably right now live streaming it. Like we went.
Oh yeah, it's on today. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
We went this morning and we had to go just take care of some paperwork for and then as we're driving. My wife's like, on the phone with the headphones, and I'm like, okay,
right.
Maybe she's on a call, but then she's like, not saying anything. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, totally like ignoring me, and then finally I'm like, hello. And then she's like, oh, sorry, I'm watching the Johnny Depp trial. I'm like, oh my god, but she's watching it like it's I forget the name of the channel, but there's like, it looks like there's multiple channels now YouTube channels where they're live streaming it and they're adding like commentaries, like one, I think, is this woman. She's a lawyer or ex-lawyer, so she kind of knows the lingo and the jargon. And they kind of they explain certain things that happen. It's like, man, it's almost funny to see how it's become like a whole reality TV show. And now it's supposed to end in a week, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's become. I think it's because it's just been like a circus, kind of. Like I don't know if you've. Like which stuff you've seen, but like you had the doorman.
From what I've seen, and also again, I don't have much of an opinion because I don't know Johnny Depp or Amber thing, but or Amber, what's his name?
Heard.
Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know anything pretty much about her, to be honest. I mean, I know Johnny Depp from movies. That's all. Mm-hmm. Never worked with him. Like in my line of work of doing films. You get to meet certain of these like movie stars and stuff. Never met him though, and so and also having that experience of meeting a lot of like even people that I used to idolize, like actors, actresses, like when you meet them, face to face, and usually, again, my circumstance, you meet them like for 1 or 2 days, whatever, while you're working on a particular scene. So it's kind of more, okay, all about business and stuff, or all about work, I should say. So it's not like you get to really hang out and really see what they're like and everyday life. And you know how it is. Like I'm sure you have, people at work that, oh, they seem very cool and this and that. And then, God knows, maybe they go home and like freaking smack around their wife or whatever, like,
yeah, exactly.
Like everybody's on their best behavior at work, right? So you never really know. And like I said, like there's a few celebrities that I had the chance to meet that then, I don't want to now like mention certain names, but basically, yeah, like one person, he seemed kind of depressed when I met him, and then he committed suicide, like, years later, and like things like that. But in the public eye, you would never know, So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so hard from just seeing a public image. And to me, I know about Johnny Depp, right? Is, oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he was like the most wholesome guy. And now, like, if you told me 10 years ago that, he'd be known as one of the most prolific rapists out there, I would have, who would have saw that coming?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yellow guy. So,
exactly, because he had this wholesome, clean image, right?
Exactly. Even Will Smith too. That's topical in terms of like, who would have saw him, smacking somebody on stage, right? So you never really know. You think, just because.
Although I think with Will Smith, I think it's I don't know. I don't want to like again. I don't know them personally, but it almost seems like his wife is a bitch. I'm sorry to say it. She's like. The stuff that she does, and then she talks about it proudly. I'm just like, either they're both on it, and it's, I guess, selling, and they're making money, or she's just a fucking bitch. I mean, like, tell me honestly, if your wife, whatever, your partner, like whoever, like a person that you supposedly trust and you have building a family with, goes in public, like public places on television or whatever, and starts saying that she's like sleeping around because she's not satisfied sexually, like the stuff that I heard. I was like, I mean, like I couldn't have a relationship with a person like that. I'd be like, okay, get the fuck out. We're getting a divorce and thing. I mean, that's just
that's my whole thing. Like, I think that it's
So do you think
what you said, either something they have like some sort of understanding, or I don't even know.
Or is he just too much of a pussy to kind of stand up and be a man, basically? And he's just finally reached his limit and he's snapped.
Nobody's going to know, right? Until...
Well,
I was going to say until he says something, but like that's if he even does.
Well, you know what I heard, though? That I think he actually had a nervous breakdown. I think he's been trying to portray this image of... He's a funny guy, Will Smith. And he's been very successful with the movies and stuff. But I guess it's not good enough for his wife. so he's been trying to like prove himself, I guess, whatever, like all this stuff. Like I even heard that his wife was comparing him to Tupac, that she knew him and stuff years ago.
Oh yeah.
That Tupac was way better. And then even his own son said that he wished his mom hooked up with Tupac. I was like, if your own fucking kids are saying that, I mean, that's just messed up. So I think he has zero self-esteem now. Like his wife just destroyed his, any I guess resemblance of self-esteem that he had, and he had literally a nervous breakdown. That's what I think happened, because I used to think at first that it was like a setup when he slapped Chris on stage, but I think he literally had a nervous breakdown. And then now I heard, what was it, like a few weeks ago, I heard that he's somebody spotted him. He went to India, South India, like Tamil region. And he literally, because he did an interview with this like a yogic, like a guru guy, Sadhguru, that I follow him too. He's a pretty like knowledgeable guy and about a lot of things about life basically. But in general, he kind of teaches people, I guess, how to be happy and content with their lives. And he did this basically like a podcast or something they did, Will Smith and this guy, to promote the Sadhguru's book. But anyways, now, after this incident, I know a lot of people are asking Sadhguru, because he's also this, like I said, yogic, mystical kind of mystic guy, I guess. I don't know what the terminology is. So they were asking him, like, what do you think of Will Smith and what he did? And he just said, and something about, like, Will is a really nice person. I met him, something like that. But anybody is capable of the worst and the most beautiful things at the same time. It just depends when you meet him and what mood. And then like I said, like a week or two after that comment, Will Smith like shows up by himself in South India, and then all the rumors I heard is that he basically checked into this ashram where Sadhguru built, like that has all these people there. They're studying yoga and like in solitude, like pretty much like monks. I think they live there.
Really?
So I mean, and since there he's disappeared. He's off the radar. So I would not be surprised if like, he. I mean, unless he just, I guess, it's not, he can't handle it. It's not an easy process from what I hear. But he's, I don't know, if it can turn into like some yoga monk or something, you know? It's,
you never know.
Yeah, because to me it sounds like...
Too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm saying, like, to me it sounds like Will Smith just kind of had like a nervous breakdown. That's what I think. But yeah, like you see, all these crazy things now happening with like, whether it's Will Smith or you mentioned Chappelle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although,
exactly.
I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's, you know...
Similar, yeah.
Did you hear the guy?
Right.
The guy who attacked Chappelle now is not getting charged by the district attorney in California, which I'm sorry to say it, but I used to love California. California is a shithole. Like it has been for a while, and last time I went there was 2019. And you know, there's beautiful things to see and do in California, but it's just I would never want to live there. Never.
What? So they're not charging him?
Yeah, basically the district attorney just basically said, you know, well, yeah, whatever. They're being more lenient on criminals, you know, being more understanding. But I'm like, I'm sorry, the guy fucking went in there with I think he had like a knife, right? He hidden and
either that or a fake gun or something.
And you attack somebody live on stage and like, yeah, it's just fucked up. But then again, like I said, in again my last visit to Los Angeles. What was it? We got an Airbnb, like, you know, in Hollywood, right by the strip there. And so it used to be a nicer area. I mean, you know, there's parts of Hollywood that were always kind of shady, even in the 90s and stuff. But overall, like, if you're right by the strip, it was always very nice, clean, you know, you see all the celebrities there and all that stuff. Holy fuck, dude. I would come out of the Airbnb with my wife and my kids, and we had to, like, you know, be careful because there was a homeless guy that set up his tent, and he would like be passed out with his legs sticking out of the tent. He would shed around the tent, like right there on the sidewalk. I felt bad for the homeowner because the guy we rented the Airbnb from, he lived like he had like a unit right next to us, and he was like, you know, here you have this beautiful house, and there's a guy right in front of your house who's like takes a shit every morning, sets up a tent, like passes out drunk or drugs or I don't even know what. And you can't touch him. You can't do anything. And then at the same time, I saw like literally maybe a block away, a guy walking his dog, and then he doesn't pick up after the dog, and the cop starts, you know. So it's like, if you don't pick up after your dog, we'll give you a fine. But if you shit,
it's cool. But like,
but if you shit,
you really gotta watch that.
Exactly. It's just, I'm sorry, like California, and it's all because of the like this. I guess the politicians that people vote in, and the things that I don't understand it. Like it just because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of cool people who live in California, friends of mine, and they're tired of it. Like they're tired too. So I don't know.
I mean, I would be pretty tired if I had a homeless dude shitting in front of my house every day too. Yeah.
Especially when you move to a place, LA, expensive place to buy a house or rent anything, freaking expensive, all that stuff, and then you know, that's what you're paying for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I'm kind of not surprised.
Get much worse than that.
Yeah, I'm kind of not surprised that this is what happened because if that Dave Chappelle thing was, let's say, if that incident happened in Texas, for example, I'm pretty sure Texas had death penalty. Probably that guy will be like on death row already. You know, it's like it's just. I mean,
the way they beat his ass, he pretty much was almost on death row. Like, you see the way his arm was flipped backwards.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and that was in a way, even though I don't enjoy violence. I mean, when somebody's been an idiot like that, I was like, well, you know, you had a comment.
Yeah, you can enjoy that one a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, the guy was just. And now I saw today actually a photo where it said that. He's trying to like, and some people now are like forgiving him and saying, oh, we should understand him. And they're trying to cancel Dave Chappelle because he said the only reason why he attacked him is because Dave Chappelle is being insensitive to LGBTQ, whatever the fucking, like all those letters they have now, community. And I was like, give me a break. Like the guy is a comedian. He makes fun of everybody. He makes fun of, you know, people who are, I don't know, gay or lesbian, all that stuff. He makes fun of people who are black and white and Asian and like, you know, every, you could say, dynamic and group. that's what comedians do. And if if you enjoy like a joke, let's say that's about, I don't know, an Asian or a white guy or whatever, and then the second he says something that you identify as a thing, and you have a problem with that, then you just have no sense of humor. I mean, you have to be willing to laugh at yourself. So the guy's mental. I mean, in my
yeah, I think he was that. First of all, I think he was definitely that. But also, I just think it's a different time. People, I think it's a more like sensitive era where you kind of really gotta. Because think about it, like, not to go back to that, but the whole thing, even with that same slap, it's another comedian making a joke.
Oh yeah. Like, well, some people I heard,
comedian making a joke. Dave Chappelle made a joke.
Yeah. No.
Same sort of thing.
There's a similarity there for sure. But do you think that Will Smith in a way normalized or maybe even encouraged now people to attack comedians when they don't like a joke?
I don't. It's hard to say. I want to say no, but like at the same time, this is a weird era that we're in right now, and
it's the woke era, my friend.
It might just have actually just done that. To be honest, like I could see somebody out there just being like, "Oh well, the Fresh Prince did it, so
yeah,
it must be cool. It must be cool if I go smack someone. They say something I don't like."
Well, for sure, it got the media attention. If that's what the guy wanted.
Exactly. Yeah, I think and that's why I started to tell if he's actually like, is he crazy or is he crazy like a fox? Like, was it really actually smart at the end of the day? Because they say no, like, what is it? No publicity is bad publicity or no, something like that. Like, I mean,
don't know if I agree with that.
He's all over the news now, right?
Yeah.
So he could definitely like, if it's a music career he wants, which it sounds like it is, like he could definitely do something with all this free promotion.
What do you mean? You heard that guy is a musician?
I'm pretty sure he's a rapper. I think they said, like, not like a famous rapper, but like he's he's trying to be a rapper. So like, I think like it's a thing where like this could be used for publicity too, right? That's what they were saying. So
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if it's worth getting your arm twisted off.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they should. Maybe he should come up with a new, I don't know, MC twisted arm or something. Broken arm. Then people will be like, "Oh, that's MC. The guy." Yeah.
Nah, like you know what? You're actually right. You should use some sort of gimmick instead of like how they have left eye. You could be like left arm or something. Like I don't know.
No arm would be bad if they freaking took off his whole arm. No, it's crazy what's happening. And with going back to the whole Amber and Johnny Depp thing trial. Yeah, I mean it's like I said. So I have no personal opinion about them, although from what I heard, I think they're both messed up people. I mean, they were just people who had a really fucked up relationship. And that, whether you're a celebrity or not, I mean, that's just, I mean, I've known people. I've been in one relationship like that, which again, I don't want to mention names, but there was a time in my life where I was messed up. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I was messed up. I kind of hit rock bottom. I almost had like a nervous breakdown. And coming out of that, I was looking for somebody to make me feel better and all that stuff. And I hooked up with a girl and I don't want to say she was being, she's completely messed up, but I mean, at that time, I think she was also, she was messed up, and she was also looking for something similar, like, like me, like somebody to help her bounce back from the mental problems that she had. And so we kind of were perfect for each other in that sense, you know what I mean? Like you just wallow in each other's misery. But in the long term, the relationship didn't work out. And it got nasty towards the end, because when you have a relationship built on basically dysfunction, I mean that's what happens eventually. So that's what it sounds like to me. That's what Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Heard,
like it's like as if he like heard something.
Oh, okay, Amber Heard. So so that's what it sounds like to me. That's what a relationship was like. But I got to tell you, I don't know what you've been hearing, but well, tell me, what's your opinion of? I
think you're right with that. Like, I think it's just a relationship with two people are a little messed up. I don't know much about her. To be honest, I didn't even know. It wasn't until this came up that I went back and saw that she was in like previous movies I've seen, but she wasn't somebody I've known too much about before.
I was going to say the same thing.
She was in this. Oh, she was hit.
Yeah,
that was her. Okay.
Yeah, so she's, because my wife also said that she's a famous actress. I'm like, I never heard her, never heard of her. And then now I think maybe that's one good thing for her. I think she might actually be more recognizable, whether she'll get hired.
I mean, that depends on how this kind of goes, because she might get blackballed if she.
Well, I mean, if she just doesn't get hired, then that's a different thing. But But I mean, I mean, I never heard of her. But then when I saw the movies that she was in, I was like, oh, those are pretty big movies, right? So
That was the same with me. I'm like, I've seen all these. I didn't know who she was, but okay, now I kind of know. But it sounds like, I don't know, like.
Well, who do you think is right?
Kind of seems like she's the one that's a little bit more problematic.
Oh, okay.
From what I've seen.
How come?
So far.
How come you say that? We
just
have a crush on Johnny Depp.
When she was on the stand, first of all, she was giving off a lot of, body language that seemed like she was being not truthful. That's the first kind of thing. It was just kind of the body language, the crying with no tears.
Really? She did that?
Yeah, she cried. There was a time, if you look it up, she was crying, and I didn't see any tears, and I think a lot of other people noticed that too. Like, it didn't seem like, it seemed kind of forced. Like, for an actress, you would have thought she'd be able to act a little bit better, but it did seem kind of fake. I went back and I watched it. I'm like, yeah, this it doesn't seem very truthful or honest crying. There was that moment where they kind of almost walked into each other, and she was just like, oh no. Like, she did that whole, like,
she walked into what? Into Johnny Depp?
Yeah, they were like, I guess they were walking towards the same, like, direction. And she, I guess, used that, at least to me, in my opinion, she used that to, like, show her fear of him, like, because she's supposed to have been abused, right? So she did this whole, like,
okay, so what you're saying is you don't think she was abused?
Not really, no. She sounds crazy, man. Like, she's shit in the bed, like.
Well, okay, but you don't know that, right?
Shit in the bed.
But you don't know that for sure, right?
Huh?
You don't know that for sure, though. I mean, nobody knows that for sure, right? It's just hearsay.
It sounds like, okay, at the end of the day, it's not like a murder trial, so I don't think there's going to be really any concrete evidence. From what I know with, like, these kind of trials, these kind of, like, defamation and these kind of things, it's never going to be, like, it's kind of more beyond a reasonable doubt, right?
It's just public opinion. I mean, I think that's really what
that too. It's more opinion based than just what's more likely than not. And I think it's more likely than not that she did, because
that she shed in the bed.
Well, I mean, they had a witness.
I'll get it. I'll tell you though that aside from, like, I haven't seen much of the trial myself. My wife was like watching everything. But I've seen a lot of memes, and there was one about this whole shitting in the bed. Like, there's just been so many great comedy now that people are sharing memes or like Instagram videos and stuff that's just hilarious. It's just people acting like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, there's no better comedians than you'll find in the comment section on the internet.
Or that too. Yeah.
That's where you find the best jokes. The people that make these memes, and they're quick. These memes will come out like the second it happens. Like, I don't know who it is out there, but, like, God bless them. But I just feel like it's more often than not more likely than not that she did do it. Like, I mean, just from the story, from what he told, I don't remember the name of the other witness, but there was a witness that said that she told them it was supposed to be a practical joke that just went wrong, right? And it sounds like it. I mean, like, why would he? First of all, they have a teacup Yorkie that he said, right? Like, you can't really mistake, grown human shit for teacup Yorkie shit. These are the dog weigh like 4 pounds. How big could its shit be? Okay. I mean, it's likely she did do it, and you got to be pretty fucked up in your head to shit in someone's bed.
I mean, yeah. Unless you have bowel problems.
So it's kind of she shit in her own bed.
I guess, yeah.
His side, but still her own bed.
Crazy people.
Yeah, like I've been in a lot of relationships in the past, but I can honestly say I've never had someone shit in my bed.
At least not that you caught them, right?
Yeah, at least not that I know of.
Yeah, exactly.
If they did, it was probably in their pants, but not in my bed. Not that I could see, anyways.
Or smell. No, I'll tell you, from what my wife showed me, like, there was this case where they're asking her about that she got beaten up and that she was something, that Johnny Depp threw her against the wall. And then they show that same day she went to a movie premiere with him, and she had like this dress that's open in the back, and you see her whole back, no bruises. And then they're asking her, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, something like just the way she behaves was very weird." So it's like, it kind of seems like you made up the story that you got beaten up that time at least, but then you have the zero evidence, and then when they show you actually that you had 0 marks, then you just like, acting like a dumb, like, I don't remember. I think that was the same day. Oh no, it's like, or something about the one day she got beaten up. She had like scars on her face, and then what was it that she said she used her bruise kit, makeup bruise kit, and then afterwards somebody said that there's actually this bruise kit for actually making bruises, like you know, like
in the movies and stuff,
exactly,
right?
like when you making look like somebody got beaten up, and it's like maybe she something like, 'cause she had some photos where she had some minor bruises. Maybe she just fucking painted that on. Like there's too many little things like that. But also, yeah, what was it? There was another thing where she said that she's like acting all innocent in terms of like, I never told anybody about, you know, the abuse, all the stuff, until I forgot what was it that she was gonna go. Yeah, I think file for divorce. But then during the deposition, one of the lawyers asked her something about I forget now. Like you know, if anything, you guys should go check out the videos themselves, because I don't know all the details. But it was basically something like they asked her, you know, like, oh, so how come TMZ knew about it? And then she said something like, well, because, you know, it was right after I sent it to TMZ. And then she goes like, oh, you know, and she like realized, oh shit, I slipped up. I wasn't supposed to say that. Like, it was so obvious. Yeah, it was like yesterday my wife showed me that, and I was like, that is so obvious that she slipped up. And then, because, you know, when somebody's like says something, then they go,
exactly.
And then
I know exactly
like,
what you mean.
Yeah,
it's because they're telling they get so caught up in telling like the story that they start telling the truth, and then they're just like, oh shit, I'm supposed to lie here.
So she's like this like reaction where she's covering her mouth, but then she's like, like she's adjusting her hair and this and that. And then when they ask her, also, you did send this story to TMZ? No, I didn't send it. Also, how come they had it like literally a few hours after you filed for divorce? How did they know? Oh, I don't know. Somebody must have sent it to him. Well, who else had all these photos and the story? Well, only my lawyers. And then something like the prosecutor was like asking and saying, well, like, so what are you saying, that your lawyers from your previous case, right? That they basically went behind your back and they gave out a story to TMZ about. And she's like, oh, I don't know. It's just like, it almost seems like, you know, when you catch like a kid in a lie.
Yeah, this is what I mean. How are you an actress and this is like,
no, like, but that's what I mean. Like if you catch like your kid who comes up with like a simple lie, and they just think, whatever, it will blow over, nobody will care. But then you start asking them, oh yeah, but what about this? But what happened before that? And then they start realizing, holy shit, it's harder and harder to explain this. And she's just going along with it. But I mean, to be honest, it seems like there's too many things that looks like she got caught in a lie. So I don't see how the jury can really believe her that she's really been abused. At the same time, having seen some of the clips they showed of Johnny Depp and stuff, I guess, again, there's no evidence that he was abusive, like physically towards her, but he was mentally. I mean, he was just yelling, you know, swearing, throwing things. I mean, he's also mentally a gun. I mean, and again.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so. I mean, he admitted that he's been on drugs and alcohol and.
Oh yeah, and but that's the thing. Like but they all were. Is the other thing, because like I remember the sister was on a stand.
Oh yeah.
And so many times she's just like, yeah, he was doing cocaine. Well, I was doing coke with him, and I'm like, how are you, you know, coming out and calling this guy a drug addict? And like every other story is like, yeah, well, me and Johnny were doing cocaine. And it's like,
and that's what I mean. Like, I guess they don't think there's anything like special about it. They're just whatever. We're just, you know, it's like, I don't know. In most other people, like, oh, I went to work today, and then it's like, Johnny, what'd you do? Oh, I did more coke today. You know, like it's like just something you do every day, I guess.
Yeah. So that's my thing. Is it's like I'm sure everybody kind of can get loud and can swear and yell at each other and argumentative. It's really, to me, the real question is if he touched her, which.
Exactly. So to me, I haven't seen anything. I don't know if you've seen more of the trial. Have you seen any evidence of that?
Not really. The only compelling thing I think I saw that, you know, kind of went towards that possibility is the fact that one of his exes apparently said that he did do something to her too, or something like that. One of them.
Oh, really?
One out of, I think they talked about, I think, like about 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
But did they have them like there testify?
No, not yet. It's just been kind of like alluded to so far from what I've seen. But, you know, so like a couple of them just came out just in publicly and talked about it. And one of them said he didn't, that he's never been that type of person. One of them said he has. But the other thing is, you know, at the end of the day, that person that said he has could be, just have something against him.
Yeah, I mean, could hold a grudge, right? It's an ex.
People are, and that's the thing. Nobody, is gonna feel any kind of way about lying if it means that they get their revenge. You know what I mean? Well, some people, would do that. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell. I don't think so. Though. I'm leaning towards no, especially because like there was even a time where they were talking in court and they asked her about the fact that he wouldn't look at her. This was this big deal. Like he wouldn't like look her in the eyes or something, or like they couldn't meet eyes. And apparently it's because he said that she will never, be able to see his eyes again because of like the things that she said that he did and accused him of. And that doesn't really sound to me like somebody that's the abuser. That sounds like somebody that's the abusee. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So things like that kind of have swayed my opinion a little bit. I wasn't too sure because when the news first came out like years ago, a lot of people thought that he did it, if you remember. So it's only been kind of changing recently.
Although, okay, I guess to me, I never heard much about it because when did the whole thing come out? That like when did she really? Because she
I think like 2016, 2015, around then. Like it was a few years ago now.
So like you see, I guess I don't know. Either I wasn't paying attention, or it wasn't as big of a story as maybe.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't really that big. It wasn't that covered. It wasn't covered like it's covered now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think, and I just never knew, and whatever. I didn't. But at the same time, I already knew, because I heard, I guess, somewhere in places that he's kind of a messed up person. Like a lot of these celebrities who make a shitload of money and have all the adoration and all these things, but at the end of the day, they're like. It hits them at one point, sooner or later. I think most people, they kind of, especially when they become very successful, not just financially, but like, when it comes to recognition, adoration. Most people, once they get all those things, especially, within the, fairly quickly in their life, they get depressed. I mean, like, look at, I don't know, like all these celebrities like Elvis Presley, and I mean, everybody. I mean, when you look from all the way from 100 years ago celebrities to now, they all end up having all these problems. So they either go, like Will Smith, like you were saying, they either just go mental or they try to cover it and drown it out by drugs, alcohol, things like that, and usually they end up killing themselves in the process, right?
Right.
Because they just realize they're like I guess like most people who live their kind of a 9-to-5 life. If you ask them, hey, is everything good in life? Everything's perfect. Everything. They'll be like, oh, no, I need more money, right? Because that's what most people think, is because they don't have it. So they go, oh, if I only had more money, everything would be perfect. And but then even if you try to explain to them that there's nothing wrong with money, but at the same time, if you get a lot of money and you're not already happy without the money, you're going to be, it might keep you distracted or kind of busy for a while. But very quickly, you're going to get to a point where you're like, holy fuck, that's all there is to life. Like, and that's what happens to a lot of these celebrities I see, is that they've reached this, financial security or whatever, like, crazy amounts of money, all this adoration of all these people, all that stuff. And this is what they thought, like, if I only have that, if I have people adore me in my work and I have a lot of money, all these, my life is going to be perfect. And then they kind of realize, holy shit, like, I'm not happy. I'm still not happy. And that's because if you're not happy being fucking poor, broken, and when everybody hates you, if you don't know how to be happy, then you're never going to be happy. And unless, like I said, you just have to go through changes. So I think that's kind of what's happening to Will Smith, to be honest. Like, if it's true that he went to that ashram with Sadhguru, I think that's what's happening. I think he's kind of realized, yeah, like I have all this money, I have all these things, but I'm not a happy person. In that case, you can kind of, I think you can blame his wife, but I think with Johnny,
they say happy wife, happy life. So maybe she's not happy either. And
she's dude. Well, never again. I don't know her personally, but whatever I've seen of her, she seems like such a egoistic, but also just such a person's just full of this BS. Like she puts on this thing of like, because I'm a woman or I'm black or I'm independent, this and that, and I'm so whatever, and that's why I'm so. But you can see through all the words that she's and the way she phrases, the experiences that she described. I was like, this person's like not happy, and she goes and she wants to publicly talk about it because when she gets a lot of attention, she feels a little happy for a moment. And that's literally all she's doing it for. Like, she's doing it because she's getting that attention. I think that's why she's in the process. She doesn't give a shit what happens to her own husband. And even if it means, destroying Will Smith's career, because she makes her happy for a moment. She gets a bit of this attention. She gets, and again, like I said, it doesn't matter. Even if Will Smith becomes a complete, nomad or whatever, living, a monk life, and she takes over and she becomes this big celebrity, she's going to be even more, depressed than thing. A lot of these people I see that's what happened. And again, speaking of my own experience, I kind of reached it early, I guess, in my life where I didn't make millions of dollars, but I was financially, you could say, free. I had just enough money and I was okay. And then, but I also went through, like, you could say, personal turmoil with, like, my father passing away, and, like, with I had a prior relationship that kind of got ended really messed up. So, like, all these things that happen, and then I basically realized, holy shit, like, I'm not happy. Right. Technically, I got the career that I always wanted to have. I had, financial security, you could say. I was comfortable financially. I had a house early on. I had multiple cars, all these things. And because I achieved all those things so quickly, and I realized then, like, oh shit, I have all those. Those are the things that everybody tells you. Go to school, study hard, get a good job, and then you'll buy a house, car, get married, and you'll be happy. And so many people work towards that, and usually if they achieve it by, like, their late 30s or early 40s, then they usually also realize, holy shit, it's not making me happy, and then they reach the whole midlife crisis, like many people get, right?
Oh yeah. I've seen that. I've seen that a bunch of times.
That's really all it is. A midlife crisis is just people hit all those milestones, and then they realize, holy shit, I have all this and I'm still not happy. And so for me, that was a thing, but it just happened way, way earlier in my life. And in a way, I'm very thankful that it did, because, it taught me a lot of things, right? Basically about happiness. But I see that now in a lot of people, and especially celebrities, again, having worked, in films and having been able to meet some of these people. Yeah, you see, man, a lot of these celebrities, although they're very talented in what they do, they're just not very happy people. They know how to put on a good show, but like really things. So to me, when all this stuff was started coming up about Johnny Depp, I was like, yeah, he just looks like he's a fucking miserable guy. Like, he just hates his life. I hope he finds whatever it is that makes him happy, but he's just a miserable guy. And I think she's also miserable. They got together, like I said, misery loves company, and they were just, for a while, you know how it is. They have money, they're young, beautiful, so I'm sure they went crazy. Then all the stuff, all the celebrity kind of lifestyle kept them busy. But eventually, those things, doesn't matter whether it's the money or maybe the sex that was really good between, God knows, but whatever it was, sooner or later, if you get all of it and you get enough of it, you kind of realize, oh, okay, like, it's like eating something really, really good. If you have it all the time, every fucking day, you're gonna be like, okay, I don't want it anymore, right? And that's
exactly,
and that's kind of, I think, what happened is that they both were miserable in their own lives. They got together, they got distracted for a while, thinking, oh, now we're gonna make each other happy, and then sooner or later, their old habits came back, and they just were really miserable. And I think she's just a really bad liar, and and I think she probably, though, got used to that's my assumption. I think she got used to this being millionaire and living that millionaire kind of lifestyle, and she knew without him she wouldn't have that anymore, because as far as I understand, she's not nowhere near as wealthy as he is. So she went after him, or she wanted to do dirty, and on top of that, she probably was, like I said, usually when people break up, usually it doesn't end on a good note. That's why people break up, right? So,
exactly, yeah. So it's usually just one side, which it sounds like with them too, because it sounded like he was the one that kind of ended it. So, which is another reason why she might have been mad.
Yeah. So she probably was like,
in all the taped phone calls, it sounded like she was the one kind of begging him back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then I'm guessing that's why she released the story, because she was thinking, well, fuck you, then I'll make you look bad and I'll make some money, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Leaning towards what happened is she'll make him look bad, she'll make money off it and boost her career. So that's kind of usually how it goes, right? Like, it's people normally just generally will automatically just believe what the woman says, and then the guy's kind of has to fight and clear his name, which is what he's trying to do, right?
Which, isn't it sad though that we've come to these times where, like, I have two sons, and you have a son, and like imagine if your son grows up and like a woman, whatever, accuses him, oh, he raped me or he beat me. Like, I mean, it's like it's suddenly it's onto him to prove that he didn't do it, as opposed to her proving that he actually did it, right?
Exactly. That's the problem. That's the messed up part about it all. Is it's kind of like you believe the guy, you believe the woman, and then the guy's like automatically guilty. He's not the first where that's happened. That happened even with Chris Brown not long ago. I think it was Chris Brown? Yeah. It happened to him not too long ago, where this woman was accusing him of stuff, and luckily enough, he saved all of her messages. So he released them, and then people had to, like, the people that kind of got on him, like, as soon as she said something, they had to kind of eat their words because he had evidence. Okay. But it was lucky for him that he had the evidence, because, like, especially with his background, people are for sure going to believe he did anything somebody says, right? So it was a good thing for him that he had that.
Well, because didn't he admit to beating up Rihanna or something?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, so, like, for him, she probably thought, oh, people are going to believe this, for sure, because he's already done some shitty, fucked up things in the past. But, luckily for him, he had that evidence to be like, no, like, I actually didn't do anything, and here's the proof. So,
okay.
Yeah, you kind of got to have that, like, you got to be like a mini lawyer these days, especially as a celebrity.
Which is fucked up. Like you're saying, you got to keep on recording things or whatever. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's messed up.
But in this day and age, at least it's a little easier to do in this day and age now, with like cell phones and cameras everywhere, and it's a little harder to get away with these sort of things. So
that too.
That's the only like upside to it, if there is an upside.
Unless the media is so one-sided that they're just like, fuck you, whatever. They don't want to listen to your story then.
And that happens too a lot. Yeah. So I mean, there's not really much you can do about it. So that's kind of just the way it goes.
Aren't you happy you're not a celebrity? And a millionaire?
What's the funny thing is, like, I kind of am. Like, I think the best kind of celebrity is when you're rich enough that, I mean, you're famous enough that you can make money off it, but not quite so famous where you could still live your life. I think that's kind of like a happy medium.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of people that do have that kind of wealth and celebrity, where they have like a niche audience, and they're still able to live their life and not be bothered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Drake can't go to a mall anymore.
Oh, really?
For sure. I doubt it. I mean, I'm pretty sure if Drake was to go to a mall, it would shut down because he's too famous, right? Okay. Whereas there are other celebrities that definitely could, like for instance, a friend of mine that used to make, or that does make his beats. He made beats for Drake, a lot of his most popular songs, and he's from out here. And the other day he was actually my sister saw him, or ran into him in the mall, in the Oshawa Mall, and it's like he can do that, right?
Because he doesn't have a space.
He's a celebrity, he's known, but he's not like quite as known, as recognized as Drake. So it's like he can still live his life, go to the mall with his family, but Drake's not going to be able to do something like that.
Well, and I guess then it's a lot of like those people who do a lot of like these voices for cartoons and stuff, like. They're working in big films and they make good money, that stuff. But at the same time, because you never see their face, you just you can see them. It's like, what was it, like that actor who was in Star Wars, played Chewbacca or something like that. Like he, again, he was in a way a celebrity, but because nobody's ever actually seen his face,
exactly,
he could just
go
anywhere.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
To me, that's perfect, because it's just like you have the money. You're enough of a celebrity where you can still make money off of your name, but it's it's not quite so much that you have to stop living your life normally. Act like I don't know if you ever seen that video of Michael Jackson a long time ago, where he had to rent out a supermarket and he paid actors to pretend they were shopping just so he could like experience grocery shopping. Yeah, no word of a lie. It's on YouTube. He actually had to pay like to. But
I think that's just Michael Jackson being fucking weird. I mean, like.
Well, it's probably a little of both. Because think about it. Do you think he's been famous since he was 9? Do you think he could ever just go to a grocery store without?
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that he could. I mean, or maybe there's some places in the world, I don't know, maybe where he could have. But I think he just maybe I don't. I mean, like, to go to the extreme of hiring actors. I'm just saying, like
well, he's eccentric, but I mean, I get it in just the sense of
I
like,
would
he
just be
wanted
like,
to-
fucking, let me just buy out this grocery store so I can just go. I don't know. You know?
But that's the thing. He could have done it where he just rented out and just shopped on his own. But I think he just wanted the experience of what a normal person is like to grocery shop. Because a normal person wouldn't be by themselves in a grocery store.
Yeah, okay, but I also think, like, I'll tell you, living in having lived in New York, you meet celebrities. My wife's met like a lot of celebrities, or ran into celebrities, I should say. In New York, and they just, you know, like big name actresses, singers, and they just simply dress down. You know what I mean? They don't go like, because if Michael Jackson went dressed up like, you know, Michael Jackson with the whole, you know, hair, I don't know, the Golden Glove, whatever his outfit was, then people are fucking gonna notice you. But what if you just dress normally and you just, you know what I mean, like, because that's what you see in thing. Like my wife said, she ran into Cameron Diaz. Or I think it was Tom Hanks.
Yeah, but Cameron Diaz isn't Michael Jackson, though.
No, I understand that.
Jackson was on like a whole...
I understand that, but still, like, if Cameron Diaz or Tom Hanks, like, these are people who are going to get stopped still.
They'll get stopped, but they won't get stopped like Michael Jackson.
I guess.
I think he was probably, honestly, like, realistically, who's more famous than Michael Jackson? Over the years, like, has there ever been a celebrity more famous than Michael Jackson? The old closest, maybe Elvis, but...
Elvis, I mean, Schwarzenegger supposedly is known like he's all over the world, because, you know, like, there are a lot of American actors who are only really known in North America or maybe Europe, but like Schwarzenegger is like in, like, you know, little towns in Africa and, you know, Southeast Asia.
He's up there, but I feel like I don't think he's still as famous as Michael Jackson, though.
Maybe I don't know. It's hard to gauge that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. It's almost impossible to tell, but I think it's like, once you have that level of like ridiculous stardom, your life is just it's nothing that I don't think anybody would be able to really fathom. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't fathom just not being able to just go walk down the street and, you know, not have like a mob of people after me. Like,
but don't you think he could have tried though? He could have tried with you know, covering your face and all that stuff. I don't know, like that. That's what my wife said. My wife said that.
Well, they said he did that. They said there were celebrities. I forget which ones now. I wish I remember, but there was a celebrity that told a story of how he went to the movie theater with Michael Jackson, and he said Michael Jackson, what he would do is, you know, he's rich, he can afford it. He'd get these like amazing disguises where people would not recognize him, and that's how he used to go out and do things in public. But that's a lot to have to do that just to go to the movies. You know, get like a whole makeup team to change your whole face.
And then that's
just to go see Batman or something.
So, is that why he decided doing all those plastic surgeries? He's like, fuck it.
That I think was a childhood thing, they say. Like an abusive, you know, his dad sounded crazy. His dad was crazy. I remember when he died, his dad, they were interviewing him, and this is literally the day he died, and his dad started promoting his new artist, like the day he died. Like, it wasn't even like, you know what I mean? Most people would be like talking about their son, you know what I mean? And it was like the day he died, and he's like, yeah, I got this new artist. And I'm just like,
well, from what I understand, his father is like, to this day, right? He's like a workaholic. Like, he just...
Well, no, he's dead now.
Oh, he passed away?
Okay. Oh, yeah, he passed away a few years ago now. Okay. But, yeah, that's what they said. He was a workaholic. Yeah, for sure. But apparently to the point of where... you know, he beat the shit out of his kids. So, I don't know. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, if he did it, it's that, you know, that question of, if he didn't do that, would Michael Jackson have been as talented as he is, or?
Well, I think the talent is there, but he maybe just wouldn't be as famous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, maybe he might not have practiced as hard.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. Because, you know, especially when you're a kid, like, you might like doing something, but then you're like, you know, kids like 5 minutes later, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. So unless you have somebody to whip discipline into you, to stick to one thing, you're just
literally whip a discipline into you.
Yeah. You're just not going to stick to it. So I don't know what his father did to him, but I mean, Michael Jackson, for all the amazing talent he had, and I loved his music. I mean, to this day, I listen to it.
Yeah.
But he was definitely a messed up individual. I mean, there's no way to defend him.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, he definitely...
I don't know if I believe that he raped all those kids.
Issues.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I believe that he raped all these kids, because there was no evidence, really, I guess, at the end, right?
Yeah, no, I don't personally think he did.
Yeah, but he was just really messed up, right?
I definitely think that. I don't think he did that, like the rape and all that, but I definitely think like he was clearly, psychologically messed up. But I don't think he raped anybody though.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, who really knows, right?
So basically, the conclusion of this podcast is that everybody's messed up in some way. We're all fucked up.
Basically, yeah. Basically, it's the fact that I think it's actually that money can corrupt a lot. Because at the end of the day, these are all.
Do you think though money is? I don't think that's the money. It's just money is a tool and it enables you to do things. The thing is, if you already have, like let's say if you have tendencies to be depressed or want to cover up your, your mental, problems with alcohol, whatever. Well, if you have a lot of money, you can really just cover up. You can get a lot of drugs. You can get, Whereas
Exactly.
somebody who just doesn't have as much money and has to still go to work every day, they can't do that all the time. It just makes it harder in a way for them.
Yeah.
To kind of think.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
so money can be taken, but
that.
at the same time, let's say if you're like on a mission to do something really good and all that stuff, the more money you have, the more possibilities you have of helping, right, people. So I think money is just, it's a great tool, but it can be, like any tool, can be misused for bad things. It can be used for good things, right? It's just
Right. It can essentially amplify. It could pretty much just amplify who you already are.
Exactly.
If you were somebody that was already had an addictive personality and you get money, what's going to happen? You're probably just going to go for all of the things that you're addicted to. So if you're a gambler, it's going to gamble. If you're a drinker, you're going to drink because you have the money to do it now. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's going to amplify you. So like if you already have those kind of flaws in you, it's not going to help.
Yeah. At the same time, if you have good flaws, you could say, or good characteristics, then it can allow you to.
It can help, yeah. It'll help me. I'll take all the money. Don't even worry about that.
We all, but honestly, though, think about it. If you had right now, like I don't know what it would take, $1 billion for you, whatever. Would you just stop and do nothing? I mean,
No. I would invest a lot, lot so that I can live off it.
I mean, if you have like $1 billion
right away.
If you have $1 billion, even if you're like don't do any investments, if you're like the worst that ever, you'll be pretty good for the rest of your life.
Most likely, well, yeah.
Unless this inflation gets,
you can still go broke, but most likely, if you're really bad at spending, you can do it. I mean,
spend $1 billion.
I've seen some celebrities go through some crazy amount of money, so I think you could if you just buy houses and do all kinds of stuff. You never know, but I would invest most of it and then probably just do what I love. Like I would do art and things like that, passion projects. I would never just sit there and do nothing. There's no life in that. I don't think. And if I'm sure. Actually, what I think some people might do that, but I don't know. I don't see the good in that. It's like when Seinfeld. There was this TMZ reporter. I don't know if you ever seen the TMZ reporter stop Seinfeld years ago on his bike, and he said to him, he's just like, "Oh well, you're still riding your bike, like And Seinfeld's like, "Okay, yeah." He's like, "I'm out like everybody else." And the celebrity asked him something about work. And Seinfeld was just like, yeah, he's like, what is your dream to do nothing with the rest of your life? He's like, no, he's like, I have ambitions and goals to do, right? Like, just because you get money doesn't mean your passion should stop for life.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, you shouldn't stop living, right? Because that's...
Exactly.
Although at the same time, if you... Like, there was a guy, actually, I think somewhere like there in Brampton, like area, like Toronto area. He, if I'm not mistaken, but anyways, he won a lottery, like millions of dollars. Young guy. I think he was like in his 20s. And he literally just went, had a shitload of fun. I mean, you could say he really lived life to the fullest. He wasn't doing drugs or anything like that. He was just, now at the same time, yeah, he wasn't very careful with how he spent the money. So he went traveling all over the world. He did, all kinds of like adrenaline, junkie kind of crazy like stunts. And he did all kinds of crazy shit. And I guess his life was amazing. It was just always like, on a high note kind of thing. But eventually the money finished after like years though. And then he could not face the fact that he had to now go back to living, getting a job like everybody else and living a normal life. He just couldn't. So He first moved back with his parents. He lived in his parents. So imagine being a millionaire and having all these things and, you know, traveling all over the world, doing all these crazy things and having, you know, cars and houses all over the world, losing all of that, or spending it, I should say, and then going to living in your parents' basement where you don't have money to even go and freaking get a McDonald's meal, a Happy Meal. Literally, like, complete broke. So he was so bad with the money that it was completely broke. And then that got to him so much that suddenly he couldn't do all those things that he was thinking for years, that he hanged himself. The guy's perfectly healthy, you know, totally capable of mind. He could start a career. He could do some, you know, maybe win the lottery again, or maybe he could, I don't know, like, have a successful business. He could. Nope. He was so depressed, felt so, I guess, you know, underprivileged, that he was like, fuck, you know, I don't have my millions anymore. What's the point of living? And he killed himself.
Damn.
Yeah. That's like, imagine going from that high to like, and again, that's all comes down to not being able to manage your mind, right?
And laziness. I mean, like, imagine being so against working, you'd rather just kill yourself. Like, it's fucked.
Well, I shouldn't say it was because he had to go back to work.
Myself. I think I'll just.
I shouldn't say it's because he didn't want to work. It's just, or I don't know, maybe it was, but I mean, I think it was just more the fact that he couldn't do all those crazy things that he was doing before. He had to live a normal life, you know what I mean? Like, where he has to watch his budget, and he just.
Or he could do those things again. He just has to work for it.
Well, exactly. That's what I was thinking. But again, I guess clearly in his mind, just felt like that's it. That's the end. You know, like, I lived my best life. There's nothing else I can do, and that's it. Fuck you, fuck you, everybody. and he hangs himself. I mean, if that was my son, I mean, I can only think what that would do to his parents. I mean,
yeah, I know that's fucked. Like,
imagine if your kid was millions of dollars, you'd be happy for him, I'm sure. And then that ends up leading to him killing himself. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I raised you, I helped you, you know, have this life. And now you just go and fucking kill yourself because you can't, you know, because you blew money away, you know, millions of dollars away. I don't know. It's a lot of people are messed up, man. The more I live in this world, the more I realize we're.
Hey, man, natural selection, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, fuck. I couldn't see myself doing that for that reason, because I like blew all my money. I mean, we all get in bad places in life. You can't just kill you. Like, that's not the answer. That's never the answer. It's just like, you know, doing that.
I guess for some people it is the answer. So let's finish on that.
Literally, the final answer. Is that your final answer?
let's finish on this high note.
I know, like, fuck. This is going like downhill real quick.
Kids,
don't first and last.
Yeah. Podcast. So the moral of this podcast is, kids, don't do drugs and don't commit suicide.
Don't do drugs. Don't do that. And, you know, invest your money better. Shit. Like, if you have millions of dollars, if you're just given millions of dollars. Well, yeah, there's really no excuse for you to be poor again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, even if you just put in a simple, like, investment, you know, portfolio, I mean, you'd be good for the rest of your life. But I guess it's like you said, you have to watch your spending, which some people just they don't do it.
Some people they don't have any sort of you know, they don't know what to do with money once they get it. They've never had it, so they don't know what to do with it once they get it, and that's why you gotta you know, once you get it, you gotta stop and think. Don't just spend it all. You know, it'll be there tomorrow. You don't have to start spending it today. And, you know, you make a plan, and then you use that, and, you know, keep it going.
Yeah. But I think it all comes down to again, if you first got to learn to be happy, like, with nothing. And I mean, like, nothing, with not having any friends around, not having, like, if you just can't be happy by yourself, doesn't, like, people will end up making those mistakes because you know, then they want to buy happiness, right? Buy you know, everybody, you know, whether it's buying new clothes, or for somebody it's traveling, or for somebody else, I don't know, buying a relationship. I mean, literally, you know, some guys throwing money on some girls and getting their attention. I think that's what it comes down to. Whereas if you're happy already by yourself, then you're just going to be like, oh, cool, I have money, I can now go and do this, but I don't have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're just fucking happy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. The number one thing is just being happy with just yourself. Because,
which is a skill.
Like you said, at the end of the day, the money can go, and then what?
Exactly. But which is a skill, though. I mean, I know not that I was a depressive person when I was younger, but I definitely, when I hit my rock bottom, I learned a lot about, like, holy shit. Like, I realized how happiness or unhappiness, basically, mental well-being is 100% up to me. It has nothing to do with what somebody did or said around me or my financial circumstances. But I didn't know that when I was younger. Nobody told me that. And it took me a while to learn that, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And again,
absolutely right.
Yeah, because I remember I had moments where I also thought, except maybe that was the one good thing from my really strong kind of Catholic upbringing and my parents, was that you just never even consider the idea of suicide. You don't do it. So I remember when I got like really bad, I had moments where I just thought to myself, like, "Is this it? Should I just like kill myself?" And then I'm like, "But no, I can't." Like, and it was just this weird thing. But I was just like, I was almost like scared, like my mom's gonna whoop my ass.
If I kill myself,
yeah,
my mom will then kill me again. So
I'm like, I can't do that. No, but and so I remember like that never even crossed my thought, like seriously, like, oh man, I should do it, like contemplating that, because I just simply was like, well, you just can't do that, right? You just like, and I also used to think like, I still do that. Suicide is like that's what somebody who's a chicken shit would do. That's like an easy way to escape.
See, exactly.
Yeah, and I remember that was the thing, and so, but in a way that was good because that forced me to come out of my little hole and start realizing there's all these other beautiful things about life. But yeah, it's not a skill I see that most people have. Some people do have it. I think they're like naturally born with it. I don't know. They're maybe they're in their previous lifetimes. I don't know. They learned that lesson, but I see a lot of people don't have it. Yeah. A lot of people need, the outside stimulus, whether it's somebody saying sweet things to them, or giving them physical attention, or somebody, or money, or recognition, or whatever it is, or drinking something, or eating something really good, or all those things. They need those things to make them feel good. And they don't realize that, holy shit, I can feel amazing without any of those things.
It's I think the hardest thing to do in the world is to control your own emotions and control your own feelings. Like, that's the thing. Like, today, this guy I'm driving with my family. This guy cuts me off, like, and comes right in front. Like, I almost T-boned him. So I honk because, that's what you do. That's what it's there for. And he has his kids in the car, and he gives me the finger, and he starts like going off and like talking shit. And I wanted to say a lot of shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to say the same shit back, but worse. I wanted to tell him, do all this, whatever. But at the end of the day, I have my kid in the back, and I had to control myself and be like, you know what? It's not worth it. Like, he's obviously angry. His kid doesn't stand a chance in the world that that's his dad. So, I have nothing to be mad about. And I just kept going. Like, I didn't have to sit and cuss him or whatever. And that's the thing but that's the hard thing. Because after I did it, I was still pissed off that I didn't cuss him out. But I know I did the right thing. And that's where it becomes like a hard thing to do. I think it takes like a real man to be able to do that. Because it's just
to let go. To just basically let go. Right?
To let go. It's the hard. And I think it's because the hard. The easiest thing to do was to me to lower my window, give him the finger, and tell him to go fuck himself, right? Yeah. But like, the hardest thing to do was to drive off, because I was pissed off for like 10 minutes straight. I'm just still replaying in my head, like, man, I should have just stepped out the car and just punched him in his face or some shit. But like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I did the right thing. My kid's not going to grow up, the way his kid is going to, which is, my kid's not going to grow up seeing me lowering my window and cussing people out, right? So
yeah, well, I would say that because having known you from all the people, like even back in the day when you were doing like all those hip hop, like music and music videos you were doing, and seeing some of those messed up people that we knew, we knew in that industry, and how quickly they snap and like lose control of themselves. That was one thing I always saw about you, is you were always a bit more you just seemed, I don't know, sometimes I wonder whether you just like have no energy, or whether you're just really like that calm, like you're just that calm inside that you're like, okay, you just let go of it. Because I've seen some people say or do shit, and you were like, okay, like you just were like, you held your composure, right?
Yeah, that's something I've always tried to do, because it's just like, I've always tried to like sit and think, like, give it a second because most people don't. Like the worst thing you can do is make a decision when you're pissed off. So it's like I would sit and I would process it and see if it's worth, anything, if it's worth, what kind of reaction it's worth, and then I would go from there.
Now, did somebody teach you that, or were your parents like this when you were smaller? Like when you're, is that the tendency of like how your mom and your dad act? I guess how they work.
Yeah, more or less. Like they're very but actually now you're saying that they're both kind of like that. They don't really, especially my dad, but like they both really kind of like my dad's more like kind of how I am. Okay. He's very chill, and he's not gonna. It takes a lot to get a reaction out of him. Like he's not easily excitable, like kind of like how I am. So. And you know what? The funny thing is that sometimes gets people even more pissed off when you do that. When you stay calm and
because they want you to get
acting like it's not a big deal, they get even more upset because they're just like, it's the biggest thing in the world to them, and you're just acting like it doesn't mean shit.
Exactly. So, and I think
sometimes that works for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's I also learned that like sometimes just by not reacting, I'm almost laughing inside, just seeing them like boil and like and you're like,
exactly, because they don't know what to do with all their built-up rage inside now because you're being nice.
Exactly.
If you get there with them and you start cussing, now they have a reason to take it to the next level.
Exactly.
But if you're like, okay, well, whatever, like they're just gonna be like, well, what do I do now?
And in the end, it's funny because you'll have a tendency then to just be like, let go of it and feel good. Whereas they're wallowing in this anger and this whatever, right?
Exactly.
They just ruin their own mood. But I'll tell you, so see, like that you mentioned that, because I heard somebody, I forget who it was, that like, there's one of those quotes I saw that basically the best way to teach your children is not by telling them shit. Because, kids, how it is. Like you tell them, don't touch this. 5 minutes later, they're going to touch it. Kids kids don't listen to what you tell them. But what they do is like even us, when we were smaller, we all were observing the people that we, usually it's at the beginning our parents. So you're observing your parents, how they behave. So the fact that you don't snap, the fact that you're go through life letting go of things like that, your son is watching. He might not be able to, I don't know if your son is talking already yet. How old is he?
He just turned 2 on the 13th of this month.
Oh, congrats. Yeah. So, and how is he? Is he talking already, starting to talk?
A little bit. He knows the word no. He likes to say that a lot.
no,
but he talks a bit.
Yeah. So but you see, even before they they can speak, they're already. I noticed the kids are already watching and learning from the people around them. It's usually the parents. If they see the parents, and you'll notice that sometimes. Like I even noticed it, like in a store. It's sometimes funny, like when I go to a supermarket and I just like watching people around, and I see somebody with their kids. You see how the kid literally starts behaving very easily, like similar to the parent, in just physical mannerism. But even like when I saw one time, I remember this guy, something fell on the shelf. Oh my god, something out. He just like gets angry because something fell off the shelf, and then you see that the kid is also getting like that kind of reaction, and that's the reason is because the kid's sitting there. He still doesn't know, he's learning, especially I heard it's up until like the 6 or 7 years of age. Kids are literally like sponges. They'll just watch the parents. And if the parents, for example, like let's say if there's an accident or, somebody cuts you off, and if the parent starts, fuck you, this, or yelling, the kids, they don't even realize this, but they're already learning that that's what you do. And later on, years later, when they're driving their own car, they get in an accident, it's like this instinctive reaction. It feels like it's instinctive, but that instinct was actually taught to them by observing adults, right?
Right.
So by the fact that they see now, oh, my dad or my mom, they never do this, they never explode. Guess what? 10 years, 20 years from now, they're going to be driving their car and they're going to be like, oh, whatever, some idiot cut me off. They might even just have a chuckle about it. And like they won't react because instinctively in their mind, it won't even be that's just not how you do it.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for him. And that's why I didn't really react. I'm just like, I got to start setting an example.
Exactly. So I think that's the best way is to teach our kids is to, like, if you want them to be a certain person, just you got to be that person. Forget about telling them or explaining them shit. If we as parents are a certain way, whether we're more loving, accepting towards others, because there's like all these people who are talking about now like diversity and you got to be loving and this and or like take care of the environment, but then you see them like, oh, if I can cut down that tree because I want to put it on my house or whatever, throw the fucking garbage, up here. Like, it's one thing to say something, but then when their actions don't show that, well, their kids are gonna grow up being exactly the same way. So
right.
I realize, like, if I want my kids to be a certain way, I can't tell them or explain them those things. I just got to be it.
Yeah.
And which is the hardest thing, because it's easier to, like, tell your son or your daughter, like, hey, you should be more thing, or don't get so angry. But then I myself get fucking angry, then it's like the kids are gonna be like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? You get angry all the time.
It's like that old saying when they say, do what I say, not as I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I realized that too. There's also, like, good things I know that I learned as a kid from my parents, and some bad things, like some bad things that I picked up that I kind of, at least I see that my parents just were unconsciously, you could say, passing those things on to me. It's not like they had bad intentions, but at least now I can recognize that and I can try to overcome it. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to see. Definitely having kids, right? It changes.
Oh man, yeah, it's something. It's definitely a different experience. It's good though, because there's nothing like watching somebody figure things out, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's literally just figuring it out. So it's fun to watch.
He's starting with nothing, right? Basically.
Exactly.
And it's like
start from nothing, and he's figuring it all out just as he goes. Things to do, things what not to do. So yeah. It's good.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. All right, anyways, let's finish it up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Good first episode. At least I had fun talking to you. So
yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to keep doing it.
Yeah, so
hopefully other people enjoy it as well.
Yeah. Start posting it up, and then let's think. So anyways, bye guys. That's it for this episode, and make sure you guys check us out again. We're gonna try to do one a week, I guess, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. All right, man. Bye, or bye, everybody.
Bye.